And did the Obama administration intentionally mislead you about the facts in the Iran deal? Now a top White House aide is frantically scrambling to do damage control. Ben Rhodes, the Deputy National Security Advisor for Strategic Communications, may have used the press to do this misleading. Tonight, Rhodes is doing everything he can to backpedal, but that's not all. He also got caught ridiculing members of the press, although that's not a felony. In a New York Times Magazine profile, Rhodes is quoted as saying the White House created an echo chamber to build up support for the controversial Iran nuclear deal. Rhodes claimed they used friendly reporters to sell the deal to Americans. But in a new post on the website Medium, Rhodes now saying the White House made no attempt to mislead the public. Former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Ambassador John Bolton, goes on the record. Good evening, sir.
Glad to be here.
Can we all agree it's not a felony to ridicule the press, for starters?
Well, let's say one nice thing about Ben Rhodes before we go any further. He said that the press at the White House covering foreign affairs was an average age of 27. They knew next to nothing. And that's absolutely right. So he had an audience that they knew how to play, and they played him like a Stradivarius. The press were their lapdogs for this, and Rhodes got it exactly right on that point. Now we can talk about the rest of it.
Would you not, though, blame the news organization? Let me just step back, because they're not sending reporters anyplace. Reporters aren't going off to Pakistan or Afghanistan or Iraq anymore. I mean, they pretty much are, news organizations just aren't sending reporters around the world anymore.
Well, it's worse than that. They have the depth of historical knowledge of fruit flies. So it's no wonder that when a White House like this that's perfectly prepared to feed them their line, they don't bother to think about it. They don't research it. They don't call other people. They are megaphones for the White House. And I think the Obama presidency has used the press, the establishment, mainstream media, more effectively as a propaganda tool than any other administration in American history.
All right, now to perhaps the more serious issues, whether we were misled about the Iran deal. Your thoughts on that?
Well, obviously we were. Look, this was an ideological obsession of Barack Obama, and that's why, honestly, so we can get off Ben Rhodes now, the single most revealing thing that Rhodes said in that article was that he can't tell where Obama leaves off and he begins. I believe that everything Rhodes is quoted as saying is something he's either said to his boss, Barack Obama, or Obama has said to him. They were all things he thought his boss would agree with and approve. He's so used to hearing it and saying it himself that he could not see. He did not have the self-awareness to understand how much he was revealing, not about his own shallowness, but about the ideology that drives Barack Obama. So I think when you put this article together with the Atlantic interview of Obama himself, you can see just how deep the ideology is, how much the antipathy toward American power has pervaded their foreign policy, and how much they've tried to restrain not Iran, but us.
All right, we have 30 seconds left. Does not every presidential administration going back decades do a little bit of this misleading, or is this fundamentally different?
I think it's fundamentally different. I think simply the creation of the idea that there was a group of moderate Iranians that were trying to reach a nuclear deal with the rest was a fundamental fabrication, as anybody who knew anything about President Hassan Rouhani's background could have explained. But nobody bothered to ask. Nobody went into it, even though a lot of Rouhani's revelation of his own deception in earlier negotiations had been reported in no less than the august pages of the New York Times.
Ambassador, thank you. Nice to see you, sir.
Thank you.